Alright everybody, semifinal number 2, ZOTAC Cup, and again, before you get too excited seeing that little Murky on the board, that is actually the replacement for Ragnaros because it was not featured in the draft tool as this draft happened. That was the first Ragnaros patch, not the newly mini patch that Blizzard brought out. So I think that makes it 22.3, if I'm not 100% mistaken, going to be in the in the video description as well. So at this point, we have Team XD versus GDL, and GDL is goddammit Leroy. That's the team name. I'm not 100% certain what inspired that, but one way or another, the 200 Spider Queen is the first game between the two of them. So when we're looking at the draft and we have the full version already in front of it, the one thing that really comes to mind immediately is that both teams rely on heavy front lines. GDL a little bit more so than XD since they are running this together with a Tyrael, Artanis and a Thrall. Artanis of course a lot more popular now in the Ragnaros patch as well because I mean the hero gets a lot of utility at this point. I have a lot of heroes that made a huge comeback. Rhaegar is being played oftentimes with Bloodlust even these days. So the patch has definitely shaken things up a little bit. The setup is still pretty sweet though. I mean, the Haka can run the solo lane for Team XD. For GDL on the other hand, we're having the front line being super heavy, good protection style. For Khaldor in particular, who will try to get the stacking process by just rotating between the mid and the top lane. So our first game, let's jump straight into it. Check out which team is going to take the lead here at the ZOTAC Cup Monthly Final. Alright guys, game number 1 has started. We're using currently also the old overlay, or the official overlay, since the patch actually changed, unfortunately, the layout a little bit. So we're currently looking at this one. At this point already Mopsio to the left side here for Team XD, rocking the ETC, Juf on Rhaegar, Blakitni on Jaina, we have Nika on Tychus, Portibos on Dehaka, and to the right side of the map, Reboot on Tyrael for GDL. We have Banana on Malfurion, Chocho on Artanis, Tobos on Gul'dan, and Toon on the Thrall. So, our first map, as said before, is Tomb of the Spider Queen. So, yeah, I'm actually quite interested to see how this is going to work out with that heavy melee focus that we're currently seeing here. Also, in terms of talents, the amateur opponent taken wouldn't necessarily be the talent that I expect for talents on this map in particular. Usually, it's something that you see very, very frequently when we're playing any kind of map like, I don't know, Cursed Hollow with a lot of bosses. If you're talking about, especially Battlefield of Eternity, it's a fantastic talent there to take too. The Primal Aggression for the Haka doesn't come as a surprise considering that he is one of those massive wave play heroes these days right now. It's actually the talent that brought the hero back into the meta. It always surprises that, I mean, now we have seen a couple of changes, patches as well, but especially when the Haka re-emerged and made his way back into the meta, it was always surprising to me when I saw people in non-competitive games pick another talent that Primal Aggression on level 1. Even these days, it's mind-blowing, since it's the talent that literally brought him back, since he finally has the wave clear capabilities that allow him to go onto a solo lane and therefore get good use out of his global. So yeah, still the go-to talent for him here. Artanis, we're going to have to find out how exactly it works out with him. I actually really, really like the style that he can use. Extremely mobile right now, especially of course when we're talking about his E, his switch. You can just do so much with that, and well, there we are already seeing that. At least that bit. You can make some insane swaps there, and Chocho is going to try and do exactly that. The bot lane is, of course, the Haka going up against Thrall. That doesn't shock too much either. And ETC together with the Haka, that's a lot of CC that they already have. Jaina can capitalize on that with a lot of burst damage too. And so far, the blue team is doing fairly well. I mean, you can see that Mopsio is actually zoning out the red team because they are trying to slow down the rotations and trap heroes. And they're doing this extremely well. I mean, Artanis is already about to fall. And it was well done. It was all about ETC just being here, delaying it a bit. The team clears the wave, moves in, and then they put them into a corner. So just interrupting your opponent's rotation can be just so incredibly important in such a setup. Just slowing them down a little bit already gives you an edge. If on top of that you can also go for a kill, that's great. You have to, of course, be very careful that you're not locked down and taken out. But that is something that Mopsio could exploit there, since there's very little lockdown this early in the game on the side of GDL. They don't have these stuns. They don't have that drag on the side of the Haka. They don't have the power slide and phase map. So there's very little that they can do in these situations to really lock the target down, unless they get a really good swap with that Artanis in that puts him into a very awkward position. He's is already trying to do that a little bit, just not as efficiently as you often see. So for now, we still have the rotation being one on the side of Team XD. They're doing very, very well with that. And yeah, so let's see how they can actually like check that out right now in the, or if they can actually capitalize on that and maybe make a few additional plays there. I'm actually wondering at this point if they might be able to get the double web weaver wave and get that snowball going that you're always looking for. Already a problem for Tannis again, but Mopsu is also fairly low. The amount of gems that could be potentially lost here, that's an issue though for the red team, since they have, especially on reboot with Asterial, 23 that they would love to get rid of. 26 at this point are already taken out and or turned in. And at that bot lane, Dehaka, Potiboss, he's turned most of his away, and look at how well he's done on that lane. He actually pressured through the tower, through the gate. One of the towers is out of ammunition, and the blue team is doing an exceptional job right now, just capitalizing that. That wave clear that we have here, he's doing fantastic. That's the drag that they've been waiting for. Mopsio with the disable, and that's a disaster. That's now a fair amount of gems lost. And yeah, with that happening, the wall is also gone. Level 7 talent should be in play very, very soon here. We have, by the way, also the one who collects now chosen. We've been talking a lot about the talent and the alternative. The Hero Stalker, one who collects definitely in most cases the better option to go for. And very rarely, depending on the map, we are seeing Hero Stalker can be a great alternative if you're playing on Battlefield of Eternity, for example, where a lot of the fights are happening off lane and are usually dragging on for a long time. But right now we have level 7 versus level 4 talents. And yeah, well, Banana H already up at the top here. We have Shield Surge, by the way, taken on level 4 by Tannis at this point. So right now, they are lacking a talent, and they have to deal with the web weaver wave. And this is just the beginning, because this is looking like a massive snowball right now for XD. They go through the wall already. Nice swap here, but that puts Jojo in a really awkward spot here for just a moment. The web weaver still pushing through. In the mid lane, we're seeing the same happening with Blakitnion as Jaina trying to burst these waves away as fast as he can and going for another couple of additional structures. Nice attempt by Tannis, but we had a quick dash on the side of Nika playing the Tychus here, and with that he was able to escape fairly easily. 1.5 levels ahead, easy peasy, and down here Thrall in trouble, gets actually attacked by once more ETC and Dehaka, who went in with a quick drag. Now the wall falls, the fort falls, and the last tower too, which means that we're not talking about 1.5 levels anymore, we're talking level 9 versus 7, and a very good shot to get an early level 10 heroic ability, and of course by now 36 additional gems available to the blue team. The red team trying to get some additional experience here. We're having also now the warp sickness taken with the additional slow. So basically once you're getting hit by the phase prison, you are in a situation where you will rarely be able to escape. Jojo with a couple of really nice moves. I actually think that if he goes in there, he has a good chance of dying himself, but it might be worth it for them in this situation. Tens, on the other hand, Malfurion already dead as we see the heroic abilities coming in. Adaptation again for the Haka. Jojo moves away, but yeah, he's gonna fall eventually. We're also seeing right now again the Ancestral taking over the Bloodlust, which is an option these days since the last patch has actually buffed the talent even further. And ETC not even taking his level 10 just yet. But this is currently a full slaughter. 6 kills against 0. A second web weaver wave is going to be triggered in just a bit, especially Potipost wants to turn in his gems since he's currently looking at 20. A 3-level lead. And I mean, in this point, I really have to say that, especially when we're looking at GDL, that's really a team that is just currently starting to make their appearance in the more professional scene. This is not one of the regulars that we have in all of the tournaments in the later rounds. They made it until to the semi-final here, and of course are currently doing whatever they can, but it's a bit tricky to get back from this one. The thing is, if you're playing such a heavy melee front line, it's always very tricky to come back into the game. Because your whole idea is that you really roll over an opponent, that you protect especially Gul'dan, of course, to let him get his stacks, that you roll over an opponent, and once you gain momentum, you can really make something happen there. But if you are falling behind, and your opponent has a fair amount of poke with grenades from Tychus, with also, of course, the Jaina with Blizzard, and you're always in a bit of an awkward spot that it's very difficult for you to just poke these waves down or really engage into a battle. You have to commit when you engage. You have like no chance to go into a fight and then realize, well, it's not really going the way we want and then disengage. there's not really a lot of disengagement tools that they have in this case, and not a lot of escape that is available to them. So once they commit, they are in for the fight. And that's something that is currently very tricky for them to deal with. There's another attempt. Well done. Good burrow. Good burrow on the side of 40 boss. So once again, ETC at the bot lane for the extra experience. Just look at the experience gap here. We're talking at this point 12 versus 9 when it comes to the XP. ETC is pushing through at the bot lane. Webweaver is spawning right here at the gate. They have already gone through all of the forts. They have the level 13 talents right now. And the opponent just barely got the level 10. Mopsio maybe stayed a moment too long. Is currently thinking about jumping away. Gets interrupted and is still sliding away. Doesn't really care at all. And of course with that, the top lane is still completely open. And with open, I mean that the wall is already gone. And that is simply going straight for itself right now. Symbiosis has been taken on 7 for the Haka and the Primal Swarm now as well. So even a little bit more of amplified damage against everyone else. But yeah, this is starting to get nasty for sure. Right now, I mean, the keep is down. We're talking 8-minute keep. Keep is down at 8 minutes, and at this point you're just looking at the map and like, well, what else could we get there? Maybe we can go for the boss. Why wouldn't we? 4-level lead. The stat advantage alone is crazy, but we also have the additional talent. Our opponent is still showing on the map because they are trying to get Mopsio. They might actually get him. Yeah, there's the silence so that he can't jump away. That was maybe a little bit premature. He's still trying, and he gets away. Wow. I would have loved, by the way, if he just like jumped into a boss stun and would have died. That would have, I think, have made my day. Guys, I survived! Oh, damn it. Never mind. That would have been awesome. But yeah, so 15 versus 11, but that again showcases that just Malfurion was a little bit too trigger happy on his silence there on this Twilight Beam. Should have probably saved it a little bit earlier. Now we have the battle happening. Okay, there's immediately Suppression Pulse and also the Earthquake. That's a good combo, but it's just not enough. They're 4 levels behind and they are getting wrecked here. This is gonna be game. I like the idea. I mean, the move was desperate one, granted, but and they got wiped, and this is the end of the game, of course. But the idea was definitely there. Engage them from the side, wait until the boss is passed, and then try to go into the fight, wipe them, and that's the only way back into the game. I actually agree with the decision to try for it. But yeah, they could never have re-soaked those 4 levels. But GG, game number 1 ends up in favor of Team XD. Game number 2, everybody. GDL, yeah. The last game was pretty one-sided. XD making a pretty strong showing for themselves here. And of course, we all know that for GDL, it's one of the first big competitions here. So therefore, easily explained, but yeah, Curse Follow is game number 2, and right now GDL has a bit of a chance to redeem themselves here. If you look at the draft, it's actually like very focused on globals. I like the bans that they have here. ETC banned out, Ragnaros banned, the Murky replacement here, or the stand-in, since Ragnaros was not available for the third-party tool in draft. But yeah, ETC as a ban, don't really want to deal with him. I can't blame them at this point. We have XD reacting with Malfurion and Tychus, and overall, just like with Dehaka, with Falstad, a lot of globals that GDL has right now that they can use either for ganks. We have Diablo at that front. We talked about the hero, of course, also a bit in the course of the patch. Whereas for XD, they are using the Auric right now to trap heroes here. I mean, we are talking Rhaegar, we're talking Jaina. There's a lot of heroes that you can get with the quick entomb, where you can just simply lock them in place, and then especially Tychus, but also like Zeratul are going to do their damage. Of course, in this particular setup, Zeratul is actually an interesting choice because there was a problem with his E that got fixed right now. Apparently in the past, the wormhole, if you went for E, there was a mini delay that Blizzard had in place so that you not accidentally pressed it twice and would immediately end up in a bad spot when and always activate the wormhole. That kind of got removed in the first instance of the Ragnaros patch. I think it was 22.3, and it kind of wrecked so many players that all of a sudden couldn't use the hero properly with that talent anymore. So instead they went for the Singularity Spike talent on level 7. But now in the mini patch that got applied just recently, just like today, the talent has now that mini delay again, which allows Zeratul players to just comfortably play like they used to. So Blizzard reacting immediately to the criticism of the community there, which is absolutely fantastic. Cursed Hollow is our second game now, though, and Zeratul will probably just cater towards that problem that still existed in that instant of the patch. So we're most likely going to see him with a bit of an adjustment there, but I mean, time will tell. XD going up against GDL right now, game number 2 on Cursed Hollow. Alright, boys and girls, the game is on, and to the left side we have again XD in the lead with the 1-0 in the series, Mopsio on Muradin, Juf on Malfurion, we're seeing Potiboss on Zeratul with the Warple Blade on level 1 directly, we have Nika on Tychus once again, and Blakidne this time on Sylvanas. Reboot on the other hand with the Gathering Storm on Falstad, Banana on Rega, Toon on Dehaka Shakalaka, and Chocho on Diablo. As we have Tobas on Jaina. Diablo here with a Bulwark, getting the resistance after the Shadow Charge. Diablo, of course, as a hero already reworked with the last patch, so we see him a lot more often these days. Great damage, is a fantastic hero right now. We're going to see him in competitive a lot more often, I'd assume. Also on level 1 now, the Electric Charge taken, and Diablo right off the bat with the aggression. 5 heroes in the mid lane, 2 show for the blue team, the rest of them just says like, you know what, Sylvanas is pretty good at pushing structures, so let's just simply move to the bot lane and start taking towers down, and they get the first one. Falsa takes the opportunity to try and get a few stacks for his Gathering Storm, which he succeeds in, but yep, there comes a quick move back. So fair amount of damage already dished out in the early game here on the side of our Sylvanas team of XD. Up to the top lane, we have Potiboss going up against Toon here, so Zeratul and Dehaka going up against each other. Definitely going to keep an eye on Potiboss in particular here with his setup, but at the bot lane, the tri lane has currently been set up. So we have on both sides at this point just simply one hero at the top, one in the middle. The 2 tanks are battling against each other. Normally that just results in nobody doing anything, but they are actually fairly aggressive about it. Could also be because Mopsio is currently attempting to stack with his perfect storm on level 1. They're trying to hit a few extra storm bolts in there. The bot lane again pressured. It's a pretty... It doesn't really make a lot of sense to rotate heroes away from Sylvanas lane. That usually doesn't end well. And oh yeah, that is looking a little bit ugly for Reboot. So yeah, he already has to move back. There comes finally the rotation. The problem is the well is already down, and they are very unlikely to get anything out of value down here, and they are already getting pressured back. So that aggression with Sylvanas is something that XD is doing very, very well. To the mid lane and up to the top, we're still having our battles raging. In this case, Potiboss and Toon are still facing each other. The level 4 talents, of course, dropping a little bit faster for XD. And I mean, look at how much they've already accomplished at the bot lane. The wall is gone, the well is gone as well, and we have the half of the HP on the fort eliminated. If that tribute spawns at the bot lane, we're 2 minutes in, by the way, 2 minutes now. So at 2 minutes, they're so far ahead already. If that tribute spawns at the bot lane, there's basically no chance for the red team to pick it up because that well is missing. We have by now the combo slash taken of Zeratul. So far, fairly normal build for him with the adapted Zeratul, of course. And they're not rotating to this enough. I'm not quite sure why exactly they are in the mid lane the entire time, to be absolutely honest with you. Diablo is not really under any massive pressure. Oh, the kill. It's going to be a double kill, isn't it? Yeah, Jaina down. That hurt. Rega and Jaina down. But that rotation into the mid lane was always a bit weird. They couldn't kill Muradin, and I don't really think they had a massive chance of actually accomplishing that. So now we have a 1.5 level lead. And it looks like he doesn't even care. He says, like, who needs a tribute? Screw the tribute. We're gonna go for the bot lane. Look at that. He's just simply saying, tribute? I don't want a tribute. Let's get the bloody keep. Dodges down here as well. And the root is on the ground. Nah, you gotta be joking, right? A 4 versus 3. Guess what? They're gonna get the tribute too. There's Potiboss just singularity spiking Toon. Der Typ kommt's voll verarscht vor gerade. Mopsio is also now there, and the rest of the team is starting to rotate over too. It's level 7 versus level 5.5. And now there's the Seeker in the dark. That's exactly what I've been talking about. Singularity spike on 7 because of the problem with the E in that instance of the patch, but Blizzard moved that already. There's the kill. Alright, counter kill against Jaina. That doesn't matter. 1 in the back already. Alright, this is not going to be a 0 game. Last one was, I think. Toon is eliminated. Maybe, maybe not. There's a stun, there's a clap. He's trying to get a counter kill. Actually, not a bad attempt. And Dehaka is still falling. 7 versus 6. Oh, boys. This is hurting right now. They're not even taking it at this point. And I can just imagine what they're doing in voices. Like, let it stay a little bit more. Maybe we can bait another one. 8 versus 6 right now, and yep, so Falstad trying to take the mid experience. But again, Seeker in the Dark has mainly taken because in this instant of the patch, Wormhole was more or less a little bit bugged. There was a mini delay that Blizzard removed, which caused basically every time you wanted to simply blink, you to cause a double and then Wormhole back. So right now, this is kind of the replacement of the talent that was taken by a few players already anyways, but Blizzard already listened to the community feedback and changed it in a mini patch that was on 22.4. So right now we have a situation in which Wormhole can be used again. At this point, we are already seeing the bot lane with Dehaka trying to at least get some experience back for the team. The level 10, of course, is an issue. And he's like, trying to try goes again for the drag. And he is actually at this point nearly getting someone. Yeah, there's the cleanse and Tychus. There we go. Alright, the red team showing some teeth here. Well, maybe. Jaina is still dead, but maybe they can get the Nah. Get out. Run, fools, run. Okay, so 3 survive. Scratch that. 2? Yeah, 2 survive. And barely getting out of there. Alright, Banana has a good sense of humor. He's just basically saying, alright, guys, this is not going well for us. He knows what's happening here. Again, these boys are a little bit newer. If you're looking at Team XD, I mean, every single one of these players has played, I think, since Alpha. And all of those boys have been doing really well, have attended several offline events, most of them at least, I think. And yeah, therefore this is a little bit of an uneven match that we're seeing here at the ZOTAC Cup in our semi-final. But I love that Banana just simply takes it like a man, is sitting there and is saying, alright, I'm going to have some fun here, I'm going to B-step them. We are down 6 kills, 2 levels, and we don't even have our heroics. I'm going to B-step. And now they go in, and they try to go for the kill against Juve. There's the silence in, the boss is helping out too. Oh, Dehaka is dead. There's the bubble. Down goes Falstad. They're still trying. Mopsio jumps in. Choo-choo is also there, but that is the end of Jaina. The root against Diablo. Yeah, Banana with a quick attempt to save him there, but it's a T-wipe, alright. 13 against 2. So, yeah. We are 6 minutes in and we have 15 kills, and I actually heard someone write on my YouTube channel lately, he thinks Heroes is boring, nothing happens. I'm not quite sure what he was watching. He probably accidentally watched a game of League of Legends or Dota 2. But yeah, honest mistake, honest mistakes. This is Heroes, my friend, so that's the game that you need to learn. This is the good one. So at this point, we are seeing them again go straight through the bot lane, this time with the boss. And guys, we are like 7... Oh my god! Dehaka, no! Someone has to survive here. This is brutal. Choo-choo is just... He should just choo-choo the hell out of there, to be honest with you. I'm not quite sure if Diablo really wants to be there. Lord of Terror? I don't think so. Once again, this... Oh my god, come! Stop. Just stop. I mean, at this point, this is just... this is gonna be it, isn't it? 7 minutes 30, and they are just going for the core. It's 12 versus 9. There's no heroic. Their boss is still there. And they're just saying like, well, we might as well, right? I mean, why wait? Down goes Reka. They go for Diablo. Why is that guy again the Lord of Terror? Every single time I see him, he just dies a second later. There comes a quick Odin, but that core is gonna fall eventually. The bubble is also there. That's a pretty good one, actually. Trapping everybody but the core, and this is game. GG! A 2-0 victory for Team XD. Ho, ho, ho.